Everybody to the Mississippi Advisory Commission on Marine Resources for Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Commissioner Daniels, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, Commissioner Daniels. Director, you want to lead us in a prayer?
Yeah, before we go to prayer, let's all remember the things that are going over in the Middle East there. And, a lot of things are happening, and let's hope it doesn't escalate too much further than what it is. We know people have to do what they have to do, and it's not our call, it's God's will. So let's just pray for the people and pray that for the people that are in harm's way. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity to be able to serve you. Lord, we thank you for this commission and we thank you for this agency. And we just ask that you take each and every one of us and give us your wisdom and your knowledge to do the things that we need to do and do it your way and not ours. We ask this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Do we have any questions on the approval for the minutes of May 20th? No questions. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at the agenda? And if so, do we have any questions? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, Director. It's all yours, sir.
Okay, first thing we'll look at is some employment contracts. Brianna and Dylan, well, never mind. They went on and they went off. Crystal just shut them off. Maybe I put them back up.
1 second, Director. For the record, I want to put, is Matthew, Commissioner Mayfield online? He is via telephone conference.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Director.
All right. We got a client support technician. Cameron's over here. We got Reed, who law enforcement. We got a new law, and then we got several new law enforcement. But and then we got Tabitha with the accounting. Cameron is in law enforcement, and then we got Jacob, who's also in law enforcement, come with us. So we thank to goodness with the new deal that the legislature or the personnel board let us bring a law enforcement on at a reasonable price, that we're able to get people now to be able to look at DMR and want to be a part of it. Any other ones? Is that all of the okay? And no contracts? Guess not. All right. Agency update. Well, legislation, we got a budget, and everything was passed, and we worked. Now we don't have any additional funds this year for Go Mesa as far as any projects. The legislature decided to hold that out to next year. So any of the projects that were in the portal to be able to be funded this year will just go on the projects for next year. And that'll give us around, we'll have around $85 million in the bank now to be able to put out next year. And so it'll be up to the legislature to what they want to do with that and the governor. As far as our titlings, they gave us the funds to operate the agency and to pay our bond debt, but they did not give us any additional funds to be able to fund any of the cities or counties or any of the projects that was there. I'm sure the money will still be there. I don't know. I guess we'll get a check from the Secretary of State, but I'm not sure if they'll just make it for what they authorized us this year, or whether or not it will be for the full amount. We'll just hold it till next year. Any questions on those? Also on the legislative update, we'll talk about a couple other things down the way here, but we did have the on bottom leases update on that. And what happened was that they did change the rules in it. I don't remember, it was a Senate Bill 2963 or something, I think. I can't remember. But they changed the rules to say that we don't have to lease 80%. We have the authority to lease up to 80% now. So that's going to give us a little leadway to do what we need to do. We're working with the Horn Group. The Horn Group is going through and talking to people on a daily basis to try to, as far as the leases. We have not had any issues, anything come up yet that was major. And so as soon as they get all their stuff together, then we'll sit down and go over it with them and decide where we go from that point. Any questions on bottom? 2019-2020 Bonnie Carey. The 19 Bonnie Carey is, going very well. They still working it as we talk on different things, and I think round 3, as I call it, we've had round 1 and round 2 of the Bonnie Carey, and then now we're in round 3, which I look at as basically the 2020, and that's for the fishermen, and that's only for oystermen and shrimpers, about $3 million. We just had a meeting with that other day. We have 226 eligible from the 19 Bonnie Carey have certified, and 17 new applicants have been, for the 2020. We held a public meeting on June the 10th at 5:30 and didn't have any major issues there. It will be a process. I think it goes to the 30th this month. Is that right? We'll be able to take applications. And so if you haven't put your application, you're an oysterman or a shrimper. That's the only 2 that's qualified for the 2020. And then we'll go forward with that. Any questions on the Bonnie Carey? All right, red snapper. I tell you what, they went crazy the first weekend, caught 33% of our allocation, and yeah, beautiful weather, and the fish were just out there, 1,147 pounds that weekend. But as we stand right now, we're at 56,348 pounds of our 82,343 allocation. So we're looking good right now. Hopefully everything will hold up to be able to carry us all the way to the 6th of July like we have planned, and then we'll look at it at that point. They're doing good. The CPU is about the same, and the number of anglers but there was 3,200 anglers out that first, and so that's a lot for Mississippi. And so just to give you an idea, it was 764 the third weekend compared to that. All right. A lot of people got out. Beautiful weekend, Memorial holiday weekend. There's a lot of things, and I'm glad it worked out. Any questions on the snapper? We have our interns that started on June the 2nd. So we got about 10 of them that have started here, and we love to have our interns because a lot of them wound up coming back and working with us. And that's very good for us to be able to 2 things. Number one, they get to see about the agency and what we do here, and if that's part of something they'd like to do in their life. And also we get the opportunity to evaluate them and see if they would work good with us. So this is a great deal, and glad to do that. Any questions on that? All right. We had a Gulf Council meeting in Tampa, June the 2nd through the 4th. Nothing major. It just proved that we can do Gulf Council pretty quick. So hopefully we'll set that as a precedent to be able to do some shorter Gulf Council meetings rather than 4 and 5 days. But things went fine. We got it in end of August in San Antonio, and then we'll be here in November. So everything's looking good. Billfish tournament. Boy, was it a success for Mississippi. It was beautiful. And we were able to serve dinner to the people who were fishing in the tournament and part of their groups, about 450 of them on that night before, on a Wednesday night, and put some good flounder out there and some shrimp and all. And then I tell you, it was good. And Golden Nugget did a fantastic job. Our people did a great job. A lot of them standing there in the back right there. So let's give them a round of applause because they did a fantastic job. And, I don't think I heard a single soul say but one thing, that they were so full they couldn't walk away. That was about it. It was a great time, and had a lot of I think there was 82 boats, if I'm not mistaken, 82, 87, something like that, that were in the tournament. But beautiful. And I tell you what, I was watching them take off on that Thursday morning at McElroy's, and that's just a beautiful sight to sit there and look at that. And, but it worked out great. Beautiful weather for us, too, so that's great. talking about fishing, we got the Governor's Gulf Coast tournament coming up, and the fishing tournament will be here on the 24th, 25th of June, and we have 6 boats that are sold out. And we're going to do snapper and cobia. I think it'll be a great deal. It's going to be this is our first fundraiser that we've had since we've been a part of the Wildlife Foundation. It's the Mississippi Wildlife Fisheries Parks and Marine Foundation now. And this is our first fundraiser for it, and hopefully everything's going good. And the Golden Nugget, once again, have been fantastic to help us with that, and we're working it out. But it's going to be a great time, and I think we're going to get a lot of participation. A lot of people have donated great prizes and things for us to auction off. So ought to be a good deal for us. Any questions on it? Our next meeting will be our Gulf Coast Advisory meeting was on June the 6th. We talked about what we need to do, what we're looking at with the Governor's Restore Fund. And a couple of things that we put in there was to be able to do some more looking at speckled trout and other things that we're trying to grow out. And we want to look at cobia. That's another thing. I want to look at cobia and figure out what it could be to be able to put some cobia in the water, maybe 12 to 15 inches long. And so that's another project that I'm going to work with Southern Miss on and see what we can do with our group in Southern and see about putting that in, because Mississippi's still the best fishing in the world for the cobia, and so let's kind of keep it moving. And it's worked good with our speckled trout. Our flounder's working good, so let's see what we can do with cobia and see what'll happen there. Any questions? All right. We got a seafood labeling conference on. We had one on June the 10th at the press conference. Commissioner Gibson was here with us, and we basically talked about the House Bill 602 and our labeling. We're going to have a couple of meetings that are coming up on that, and I got it written down somewhere on here. But anyway, the meetings are. If I wanted them, they'd be right in front of me, but they're not. But the what now? Oh, I got them right here. Thursday, June 19th at 2 p.m., Thursday, June 26th at 9 a.m., and Tuesday, July the 1st at 2 p.m. That's the meetings will be here in this room. So anybody, if you have a restaurant or if you have a seafood business or anything and you would like to know what the labeling rules are, you can come here and we will sit down and go over it. And we will go over the labeling rules and what we're doing and how we're going to do the labeling. It's basically, if you got anything that's a fish or a shrimp or an oyster or a crab, and it's on a menu as an item, then it's got to be labeled. If it's out in front and you're selling it at a seafood market, it's got to have a label. Is it imported or is it domestic? And that's what it's got to have. It's got to have those labels on it. Now, if you have something like a gumbo, which may have a mixture of things, you can say this contains both foreign and domestic, okay? And you can put that on there and be able to do it. But we want people to be able to understand what's happening here. And if you'll come and be able to sit down, if you got people for your restaurants and all, if you have any questions at all, also we have it on the website. If you can go on our DMR website, and if you'll go on it, and the first thing you will see would be the seafood labeling. It's a big pop-up. And you can click on it, and it has a bunch of questions and answers. And it'll tell you, if it's something that you got, maybe you can answer your question from that right then. And it'll go over it pretty good and be able to tell people how we are operating this. Our goal is not to hurt anybody. Our goal is to get everybody compliant. I was on WXXV yesterday, and he asked me a question of how we're going to be able to do this, enforce it. And I told him it's just like a law enforcement of anything we do. It's just like speeding. We can't stop everybody from speeding, but we can tell them what the law is and what they're supposed to do. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to get the word out to you, and we're going to explain to you what the law is and what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to label it and what you're supposed to be able to put out for people. This is the right thing for Mississippi, because when you come to South Mississippi, especially as a tourist, or visiting or whatever with a family, the first thing you see is, restaurants and all, you're thinking you're getting fresh seafood. You're thinking you're getting American. You're probably thinking you're getting Gulf of America seafood. And now, if you're getting crab legs, snow crab legs, they're gonna be kind of hard to grow them out here. But if you're getting shrimp and oysters and fish and crabs, they're thinking they're coming straight from the Gulf of America, and a lot of them are. And we just want people to be able to know what they're getting and what they're paying for. So, any questions on that? All right. And we'll be closed on the July the 4th. So, we also have our rodeo for the July the 4th week. So, what dates is that, Charmaine?
The 3rd through the 6th.
3rd through the 6th. So, we'll be down at Jones Park and being able to work that. And so it's a big annual thing that's going on. Our next commission meeting is the 15th of July at 9 a.m. Any questions? Any problem? All right, last thing I'm going to go over is derelict vessels. We have 195 derelict vessel cases that have been reported. 169 have been removed, 26 are pending, and 8 have received court orders to remove as we speak right now. Any questions on that? All right, and action update is the last thing.
Morning. Good morning, Director and Commissioners. At our last May 2025 meeting, the Commission recommended and the Director approved a motion for the proposed changes for Rule 3.1 to be sent to the Secretary of State's office for notice of intent. And that was involving the live bait activity. And then the second was a motion to approve the state saltwater finfish record, which was for a vermilion snapper of 6 pounds, 9.6 ounces to Joseph Huang. And that is all of the actions updates for today.
Okay, any questions? All right, Mr. Chairman, that's my report.
Thank you, sir. I think the labeling, very, very happy to see that. And I feel like, I hope at some point it makes an impact with the local shrimpers and maybe drives that price up a little bit for them, and we can see those numbers go up. Commissioners, anything to report?
General, didn't know, do we have any update on the shrimp sampling, shrimp season?
Yeah, we have it, Jason, see here, or Rick? Yeah, Jason, you can come give that update real quick if you'd like, but I think we're looking at 23rd next Monday, right?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Commissioners, Director. Yes, that's correct. Monday the 23rd at 6 a.m. That's all state waters that are currently closed will be open. And we did put that out on social media. It's on our webpage, on the homepage, and we updated our shrimp hotline, and then a press release went out. So hopefully the folks are aware of it. We are going to check with them this week. Most of our shrimpers should be aware of it. We're going to check with some of them and make sure and check with the ice house too.
Jason, if you don't mind, since you're here right there, give them a little bit of update as to why we're a little bit later than Louisiana and Alabama.
So yeah, we typically open later than Louisiana. Historically, it tracks a few weeks later than them. I think they opened their zone that's nearest to us the 22nd of April, and that typically occurs because they're opening on 100 count shrimp. And so it's a little different from them because they're opening on a smaller shrimp. They're sampling and shrimping in waters that are more inshore than a lot of our harvest areas. So they're fishing in the bayous and the canals too. So in Alabama for the last few years, I think they changed their law maybe in 2020 or that they open on the 1st of June by statute. So they no longer do sampling to determine when it's time. And so we still sample to get to a 68 count shrimp. And that's what we're looking for to make sure they're legal when we open it. So they did track a little late. We've had a lot of rain this year, especially the last couple of weeks. And so I think that's had a bearing on the size and the growth.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know that everybody's like, well, they're catching them south of the islands. Well, yeah, that's because they're migrating there, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it. You know, anybody can fish. Once you get 3 miles south of the island, that's federal waters, and that's open. And and you can fish and do that, and they can bring them back here. They can take them to Louisiana, they can take them to Alabama, they can take them where they want to. But there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Sometimes the tides and the moon and everything else turn the way that the shrimp are moving. And when they move, sometimes they move a little bit before they get grown, as we would like to have them, you know, in Mississippi to be able to harvest them in the Sound. But yeah, that's a good sign there. If you can look at it, the blue area, the light blue area and the dark blue area is what will be opening soon. The dark blue area stays open a little bit longer than the light blue area. And so if you can see, there's a good overall of it. But the biggest thing, the half a mile around, you know, the mile around the islands and all the shoreline, it's always there. It's, you know, we never opened that. The kind of beige looking area. But, and the green area is open right now. You know, it's been open. And then obviously we got the area for shrimp bait too, which is a dark green area. That help y'all? But we're doing the best we can, and you know, law says 68. That's what we have to follow. Okay.
Thank you, Director. Chief, report on citations, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners, Director, Legal. You know, May was a good month. Memorial Day is always the culmination at the end, and it was I was very pleased with Memorial Day weekend, the enforcement efforts and the people in general, for that matter. I mean, we wrote 5 BUIs the entire holiday weekend. Folks, I mean, that right there is, it just shows me compliance. Everybody's doing right. We checked, we had 14.4% a compliance rate with the tails and scales. We wrote 16 citations for failure to apply to tails and scales, which is, it happens, but that's a little higher than I would have figured. We checked over 3,500 people. So at the end of the day, these officers they're every day out there and they're busting their tails, and I'm very pleased with them. I'm proud of them. But other than that, everything else looks like it's in line. I mean, I'll field any questions that I can.
The new offshore landing permit, that's still voluntary, right?
Yes.
Are
It
y'all,
is. It's
are
still
y'all
voluntary.
asking about that? Or is everybody pretty much seeming to have that along with tails and scales?
Yes.
Good.
Yep. They're doing good with that.
Your team has a presence, and I think that shows that's the reason why. I mean, if people are going out on Memorial or whatever weekend, and you guys are going to be there, so people are going to be compliant. So
Yeah, and I think they're doing a great job now. Really, July 4th weekend's coming. We're going to really see how good they're doing.
hopefully they do well. So
You know, Chief, I think the average is 5% checked, right?
Yes, sir.
And so we're at 14%. So that just tells you how much farther Mississippi is than the rest of the Gulf.
Yep.
thank you. Any questions for Chief? Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, moving down to Miss Willa Brantley. Update on reorganization of the Mississippi Coastal Program.
Good morning, Commissioners and Director and Legal. This morning I have a presentation on proposed changes to Title 22, Part 23, the Mississippi Coastal Program. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview of what wetlands permitting does. It's a lot, so I'm going to try to keep it very short, and you can ask any questions if you have them. We have the Coastal Zone Management Act at the federal level. This is a law that Congress established in 1972 that said that all coastal states can establish a coastal zone, come up with a program and enforceable policies for managing that coastal zone, and get a grant from NOAA to manage that program. We've had that in place since 1984. We also have the implementation of our state law in coastal wetlands. That's the Coastal Wetlands Protection Act, which is our state statutes. And our state statutes also mandate coming up with a Mississippi Coastal Program for management of coastal wetlands, which the quick definition of those is publicly owned waters below mean high tide. So we directly regulate those coastal wetlands, and we indirectly regulate everything within our coastal zone that federal agencies do, which is established as our 3 coastal counties. So justification for this change, we did have a 312 evaluation by NOAA. We got the results in December of 2024. This is something they come and do every few years. We report to them every 6 months some basic information on our program. And then every 5 years, approximately, they come and do a full, very in-depth evaluation. And the only necessary action that we had was that we should get our coastal program updated, our program document, to address the change in the role of the Mississippi Advisory Commission on Marine Resources. As I said, the coastal program was adopted in 1980. It was revised in 88 and then again in 2020. This time we have updated that to reflect also the Secretary of State numbering format, and to remove information that is already covered in our state statutes. So this will be uploaded on the Secretary of State website and available to the public if we get a notice of intent after this. So the main things we are updating, this is just a quick overview. We are updating the wording to reflect the responsibilities of the Executive Director and the Advisory Commission on Marine Resources. Again, we're removing information that's already covered by state statutes so that we don't have that duplication. We are adding some statutory authority references under each rule. It has the source of the state statute that gives us the authority for that rule. We've updated all of the mean high tide and mean high water line references to reflect a statutory change to the coastal wetlands definition. That is now based on the ordinary high water mark rather than the mean high tide line or water line. And we are proposing some minor procedural updates, and those are the ones I'm going to go through in detail. I'm not going to go through those top 4 bullet points in detail because that would take a lot of time. So in chapter 1, that covers the purpose of the coastal program, the only thing we've done is deleted specific chapter information. We sort of had a table of contents there that directed people, depending on what kind of authorization they were getting, to a specific chapter. We've taken that out because now that there will be some in the coastal program and some that's only in statutes, we didn't want it to sound like the coastal program, Title 22, Part 23, was the only place to find that information. Chapter 2, our justification authority, we've condensed that for clarity. We've removed the requirements for submittal of an application, and we've removed the list of authorities of the commission. Now, anytime I use the word removed in this presentation, that means we removed it because it's already in statute. It hasn't gone away. It's still there. It's just in the statute, so it doesn't need to be covered here. In chapter 3, which is definitions, we updated the commission to the advisory commission. We updated coastal wetlands definition to reflect the updated statute. We added a definition for ordinary high water mark to reflect our updated state statutes. We updated the definition of water bottoms to also reflect that updated statute. And we have replaced and revised the definition for major coastal rivers and streams. We actually took that definition out in the 2020 revision because it wasn't, we deleted the part that referenced that, so we didn't need it anymore. And now we've put it back in. There's a change later on that I'll go over that depends on that definition. So we've put it back in and added a few water systems to that. And I'll go over that in detail. So this is the new definition of major coastal rivers and streams. We've added the Jordan River, Catahoula Creek, Hickory Creek. We moved the Biloxi River. It was already on there, but we moved it so that they would be in order from west to east. We added Tuxachanie Creek, Chutacabuff River, Big Cedar Creek, and Big Creek. And we base that on the hydrologic unit codes, the HUC 10s, if you're familiar with those. This gives us all of the larger water systems that extend throughout the counties and a tiny bit outside of the counties, but not too far outside of the counties. My slide is. Okay. Okay. Chapter 4, in the permit application procedures, we've added some specific information on how to obtain an application. So we put our website in there and some phone numbers for how to contact us and get a copy of an application or to apply online. We removed the list of requirements for a complete application. Again, that is in statute, so it's still there. Chapter 5 that covers public notices and hearings. We removed the requirements for the public notice publication and also for public hearing notices, scheduling, and implementation because those are all covered in the statute. In Chapter 6, which covers how we evaluate applications, we added that the executive director's decisions will be based on findings of the department and any recommendations provided by the advisory commission. Of course, that used to say that the commission's decisions would be based on findings of the department, so we needed to reword that based on statute. We removed the allowance that permits can be conditioned, performance bonds can be required, the coverage of when permits would expire, and charges for materials removed from coastal wetlands, which is all covered in statute. In Chapter 7 is our coastal wetlands use plan. We have made some specific changes to that. We have specified that the plan is binding only on coastal wetlands. I don't think that was ever intended to apply to things like man-made canals. So we made that specific. We have updated it to allow commercial purposes in general use districts if the city or county zoning allows the proposed use. I'm going to go over the wording of that one on the next slide. And then we've updated our special use districts 1, 3, 4, and 5 so that the footprint of approved projects will automatically update to the relevant use plan without having to go through special steps for that. So this is the wording for general use districts. It's always allowed construction of piers, docks, bulkheads, and then boat launching ramps was lower in the wording. We've moved it up with those piers, docks, and bulkheads as those are all similar types of projects. We changed this in 2020 to say that those had to be for non-commercial purposes. And our intention was to keep industrial locations out of general use districts, because a lot of times industrial companies will come in and they'll only build a pier to support it. And so we didn't want them being able to say, I can do this in a general use district, even though I'm industrial and moving into somebody's neighborhood, because all I'm doing is building a pier. But we ran into some problems with that because it also cut out things like restaurants, and we never intended to cut those out. So we've added this wording back in so that if the city or county allows that restaurant or say a bait shop or something like that, then it would be allowed within our general use district without having to get use plan change. And then in the special use districts, S2 always had that leased coastal wetlands for oyster cultivation would become that designation on the coastal wetlands use plan map once that project was approved. So now we have changed it so that all of those special use districts follow that same format. Any new artificial oyster reefs under S1 will approved by the executive director will automatically become S1. Same with S3, S4, 5, and 6. So any of those that are specifically approved by the director for those very specific purposes would become that use plan on the map automatically. In Chapter 8, this is our requirements for conducting regulated activities. We've reworded some for consistency of grammar and better clarity. We deleted a section that lists activities that DMR would not assert authority over because we don't have authority over those projects anyway. So it didn't need to be stated for that to be true. We also deleted sensitive coastal wetlands must not be filled because it's redundant. We already have a requirement that coastal wetlands must not be filled, and sensitive coastal wetlands are included in that. We added that dredging can take place within 5 feet of wetlands if a turbidity curtain is in place for the entirety of the dredging operation. Right now, all dredging has to stay 10 feet off of any wetlands vegetation, but the commission and the director have approved variances quite a few times that allow dredging within 5 feet. If there's a turbidity curtain in place, the biggest danger to those SAV is that silt that would fall on them. Even just a little bit of silt on them can kill them. So putting that turbidity curtain in place will protect those. Chapter 9 and 10, we had no changes. Chapter 11, we removed the application time and the list of excluded activities and entities. Those are in statute. We did retain the certificate of waiver. That is not in statute. That allows the director to issue a certificate of waiver in the case that a project qualifies for a nationwide or general permit from the Corps. If the staff has looked at the project and determined that it would have minimal impacts to coastal wetlands, or for very specific emergency activities, those things are not included in the statute, so we did keep those here. Chapter 12 on enforcement, we made no changes. Chapter 13, and then 14, 15, 16, and 17 cover federal consistency reviews. We've deleted a majority of this. We really don't need it in our state statutes. We need it in that coastal program that NOAA approves, but we don't need it here. So we've deleted most of that here. And chapter 14, the only change we've made is that we limited state actions that are subject to review to actions that are in the coastal zone, which again is the 3 coastal counties, or actions that take place in those listed major coastal rivers and streams. So the new wording is all state actions listed in this section are considered reviewable unless otherwise determined to be consistent. The following list of actions have been determined to be consistent. Activities outside of the coastal zone, with the exception of activities taking place in major coastal rivers and streams. So that gives us the ability to review certain state agencies that could affect the flow in those rivers and streams. That's our main concern there, is to make sure that the flow is maintained and the balance of freshwater and salinity coming down into our waters is maintained. In the rest, we've made no changes. 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. No changes are proposed for those. And so at this point, what we need is a motion for the director to proceed with a notice of intent to adopt the changes to Title 22, Part 23. And I'll answer any questions that you have about any of those changes.
We have any questions? I understand is the the area that this, encompasses is basically tidal areas only. We're not looking at inland wetlands in the state, like away from streams and rivers and bodies
That's
of water.
correct. Our state regulations and statutes cover coastal wetlands. Our coastal zone, which will be covered in that NOAA federal program, extends for the full 3 coastal counties, but we only review federal actions. Examples would be the Corps issuing a permit for fill of non-tidal wetlands, or the Corps doing a project like the one that was presented recently on Deer Island, things like that. We get to review, but we don't directly regulate those.
Understood. Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Miss Willa, thank you. Looks like we're moving down to Miss Charmaine. Public Affairs.
Good morning. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources had 37 media mentions since the May MACMR meeting. News items included the opening of red snapper season, free fishing weekend, last month's fish record, and Mississippi seafood labeling law that goes into effect July 1st. Marine Patrol participated in Safe Kids Gulf Coast Summer Safety Fest in Pass Christiana on May 24th, Camp Believe in Biloxi on June 9th, and the Pascagoula Fire Cubs program on June 11th. The Grand Bayneers, Brianna Andrews, and Jennifer Cumbis participated in a career fair at Trent Lott Academy on May 21st. I actually have this backwards, that one. On May 21st, the Harrison County Soil and Water Teacher Workshop on June 5th. Brianna also gave presentations at the Singing River Yacht Club Summer Camp on June 2nd and 9th. Jennifer gave presentations for the Jackson and George County Summer Library Program on June 9th and June 11th as well. And then back to Sand Jam. Staff from the NEAR and the Shrimp and Crab Bureau participated in this year's Sand Jam held at Pascagoula's Beach Park on May 31st. The event was a day of family fun celebrating our coast wildlife and habitats. On June 11th, the Gen C program at USM visited the aquaculture hatchery in Lyman and then came to the Bolton building for presentations from Coastal Resources Management, the Office of Marine Fisheries, and the Office of Marine Patrol about careers at DMR. Following the presentations, the group took a tour of the microbiology lab. Finfish Director Trevor Moncrief and Shrimp and Crab Bureau Director Jason Soche gave a presentation to attendees of the Sociable Senior event at St. Rose de Lima Catholic Church on June 12th. All bureaus in the Office of Marine Fisheries, the Office of Coastal Resources Management, and the Grand Bay NEAR participated in Marine Discovery Day on June 7th at the Mississippi Museum of Natural Science in Jackson. Our agency, along with other coastal organizations, programs, and institutions, took part in the event, providing fun and educational activities for attendees. The event served as a great opportunity to share information about our local species, ecosystem, and waters with an area of our state not near our marine resources. And the agency's cooking team, the Mississippi Seafood Program, and agency volunteers participated in the Billfish Classics Captain's Reception on June 4th at the Golden Nugget, where boiled shrimp and fried fish fillets were cooked and served to 500 guests in attendance. The evening served as a great opportunity to talk with attendees and promote Mississippi's wonderful local seafood.
All right, any questions? Thank you.
No, I just want to say thank you, Charmaine. I love seeing the pictures with the report. Give you an idea of all the hard work going on out there.
Absolutely. All right, Office of Marine Fisheries, looks like Jason Soche. Jason, some folks pronounce it Socher and some are Soche. Which one are you? So I make sure I can pronounce it correctly.
Soche for sure. I'm
Soche,
from
okay.
Biloxi.
All right.
We do live in Socher, ironically, but
I grew up in Orange Grove, so that's why I was.
Okay. All right, so I'm presenting to you, good morning again, presenting to you the final adoption of proposed changes to Title 22, Part 6, live bait regulations. On May 22nd, 2025, the Advisory Commission recommended to the Executive Director that the new format and changes to Title 22, Part 6 be sent to the Secretary of State's office for notice of intent. The Executive Director approved the recommendation, and the notice for the proposed regulation was filed with the Secretary of State's office on May 22nd. The notice of the proposed regulation was published in the Sun Herald on June 1st. The notice of the proposed regulation was also posted on the MDMR website on May 27th. So here are some screenshots of the publications. You'll see the notice of intent there to the left, publication on the website, and there's the affidavit of publication with the Sun Herald. No public comments were received. And so at this time, the proposed regulation will be filed with the Secretary of State's office for final adoption, and the proposed effective date for the regulation, for the revised regulations, will be 30 days from filing. So whenever it's posted and stamped, it can be effective as soon as 30 days. And I'll take any questions.
Looks good. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you all very much.
A motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you, Jason. All right. Looks like we got Tim in here for a replacement for Trevor. Sorry, I don't know your name.
Oh, good. I'm Eric Geely. I'm filling in for Trevor this morning.
Thanks, Eric.
So we have a saltwater record for an Almaco Jack, Seriola Rivoliana, weighed in at 40 pounds, 15.20 ounces by Mr. Tim Shivers. There's the fish. There's Mr. Shivers with the Almaco Jack. It's a good one.
That's a beast.
And so we'll take a motion to adopt a new state record.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. Can we get somebody to check on Rody Arms, make sure everything's good?
Oh man, he might be tearing some Louisiana records or something up right now. Who knows? All right, thank you, man. Appreciate it, Eric. All right, moving down. It looks like Miss Aisha.
Good morning. I just wanted to introduce y'all to some of the folks that are visiting the NEAR this summer. And so we have kind of a record number of extra projects. So the NOAA has a program called the Hollings Scholarship. And this program is designed so that scholars from all over the nation can apply and then get real work experience at different NOAA stations. And we have put in requests for these Hollings scholars for the past 10 years that I've been there, but we've never gotten any. And then this year we got 3. So we have 3 Hollings scholars that have come. They're going to be here for 9 weeks working on different projects. Now, these are projects that we submitted, that we said, hey, we're interested in these things. Do you have a scholar that's willing to work on them? So our first Hollings scholar is Cohen McGarrah, and she's working on a bachelor's degree in marine biology and English from the University of South Florida. And her project is a field survey of oyster drills in the NEAR to determine their distribution based on sediment type, depth, water quality, precipitation, and how close they are to the oyster reef restoration site. She's also doing a mesocosm study where she's looking at their preferences in the lab for different sediment sizes. Oh, my picture didn't come out. On this side.
That's what I was just
Yeah. Go back. Try it again. Oh. There we go. There's Justin. So Justin Osborne has come to us from South Carolina, where he's pursuing a bachelor's degree at Coastal Carolina University. He's looking at the spatial and temporal patterns of the phytoplankton community across the Near. And so he goes out and collects weekly water samples to assess the phytoplankton community changes over time. Also looks at water quality and precipitation. And he's working closely with our Davidson Fellow, Janil Patel, who's also looking at phytoplankton. So, and then finally we have Jessica Yazinski from New York, and she is pursuing a bachelor's degree in biochemistry and environmental science at Elmira College. And her project is going to be using geographic information systems to look at marsh elevation change between 2 years, 2013 and a 2017-2018. These are digital elevation models that were collected using LiDAR, and some of them were ground derived. And so what we'd like to do is compare those two data sets so we can understand the utility of using LiDAR to do these digital elevation models, which are really handy in terms of if we're able to collect it that way, we can get a lot more information over a larger area. So understanding what that error is in those data sets is really important. And so, yeah, she's doing a great job helping us address a lot of the management goals, or this management goal at the Grand Bay Near. And then every year we have a DMR intern that also comes. So our DMR intern this year is Alexis Gentry. She's working on a bachelor's degree in marine biology at University of Southern Miss in Hattiesburg. And she's focused on sorting and identifying that's supposed to be macrobenthic invertebrates from our downstream effects of restoration projects. So we have a lot of upstream restoration that's going on, and we know very little about what impacts that might have downstream in terms of sediment flow, in terms of water quality, in terms of invertebrate communities, how those things interact. And so we have an internal research project where we are working on this, and Alexis is helping us go through those samples. And so this will help us really understand what that upland work, how that impacts our aquatic ecosystems. Any questions?
Excellent. Glad to see those young people getting involved and being able to choose their path by having some OJT like that. That's pretty nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
they're all doing really great too, and really excited to be there. So
Awesome.
appreciate the opportunity.
Appreciate it. Any questions? Thank you. Appreciate it. Commissioner Mayfield had mentioned there's a shrimp boat wreck that's basically southeast of in Ocean Springs. Basically, I think it's about a mile or two to the east of the entry to Davis Bayou, and it is actually sunk underneath the water, like the low tide, right underneath the surface. Who would be involved in possibly marking that, or would that be Marine Patrol, maybe? Okay. Are you familiar with? Okay, good, yeah. I think it was probably rotted out enough just to where the rigging went under the water, so it's not visible. And Commissioner Mayfield had mentioned it, so I figured I'd bring it up. So awesome. Was it okay? Thank you, Chief. So do we have any? Are there any other business or public comments? If not, if somebody wants to make a motion to close us out.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
That's all.